The RGB plants is a real announcement from Razer.
Razer, what the are you doing?
I'm just going to blur my screen right now so you can't see the disappointment on my face.
Yeah. Technology is always getting more advanced and more exciting, but sometimes it gets a bit weird, and companies, I think, take it a little bit too far, and we see some really dumb stuff. And so with CES that has just happened, we're going to discuss some of the weird and wacky announcements from the Consumer Electronics Show, and we're going to be discussing a lot more along with that as well. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Tacular, and joining me today are the ever wonderful...
Boys, that's us. I'm one of them. Reapz, hello, how you going?
Hello, Reapz. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Oh, that's really good. How's your morning going, Reapz?
Listen, do you want to talk about my thong escapade? Because anyone in the US will be thinking thong, but what do they call them over there? Flip-flops? Flip-flops?
Yeah, G-strings.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Do you want to introduce yourself though, Eljay, so people
Hello,
know?
I'm Eljay.
Yes, basically what Eljay was poking out at me there is, like a good person, I was like, I'm going to do some grocery shopping before we do the podcast today. So I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk. It's like a 10, 15-minute walk to the local shopping mall. I'm like, great, get on my thongs, which are flip-flops. And I start walking, and about 5 minutes in, one of them comes undone, and they're broken. So then I'm like, what the hell do I do? I take them off, obviously, because it would look weird if I'm just wearing one thong and, just one barefoot. I'm like, I may as well just go full barefoot. And I look like a homeless person, as I then had to enter the shopping mall with no footwear, people looking at me, and then having to go over to Kmart and going, so sorry, mate. I need to get some thongs real quick. Is it possible to be let in? And he's like, it's just that look of... is this person trying to pretend that they're, all there? And I had to then show him, here's my thongs, they got broken. And then you see me running over in this influx of people. There were quite a few people there trying on thongs to quickly buy them and not seem like I, just stumbled in off the street. So good times, good start to my morning. But I did get a Boost, which is like a company down here where it's like, get fruit juice and stuff. Although I'm not sure how I feel about the paper straws, because they're great environmentally, don't get me wrong, but they do bend and fold, and sometimes you just can't get the last good stuff out of the cup. Maybe that's just me.
I don't drink anything with a straw.
Really? So you just whip it, like if you got Boost, you'll just be like, clack.
Well, for starters, I don't eat Boost.
Okay.
I don't actually have any kind of blended fruit juice. I don't know if you know this. I watched a film. I actually met the filmmaker of it as well. It's called That Sugar Film, right? And the whole thing that he covers is that everyone's like, oh, these healthy drinks, these healthy fruit smoothies and stuff like that. And then you're like, how many apples are in there? And they're like, 20 apples. And you're like, that's a lot of apples. Cool, I'm going to drink my Boost. What you find out is like, it's so aggressively blended up. All the fiber is gone.
And
you
it's
think
just
about
the sugar?
Yeah, it's just the sugar. You wouldn't eat 20 apples.
No.
The reason an apple is healthy is because you eat one of them and then you get the fructose, which is good sugars, but you get the fiber as well, which makes you feel full, which means that you don't overload on sugar, but instead you drink this giant apple drink, and instead you get all the fructose, and your body's like, I can't handle all these bits of sugar.
Yeah.
I don't have the fiber to slow it down. And I watched that and I was like, well, this is why I've never been healthy and don't eat fruit. So
never eat fruit is what we're telling people today. Don't do it.
I only eat
veggies. Veggies are way better.
Have you ever had the V? I'm sure they've had this. They have these overseas, like the V8 blended up vegetables.
Oh yeah.
Vegetable
Well,
juice,
it's like they call it like 2 and 5 or something like that, and like the V8s are like you've got 2 tomatoes, 16 cucumbers,
1 carrot. Yeah. It's the good stuff.
like you're being so healthy, yeah. And then you just all you're doing is just buying this like pre-processed packaged thing off the shelf. It's like, yeah, I'm healthy. It's
pumped
cool.
with sugar as well. Like all those V8s are pumped with sugar to make it, palatable. But anyway, we digress. Sorry. It was one of those mornings, but I'm feeling good. I haven't had any caffeine though, but I have had a lot of sugar. And I have water by my side, so that is nice to hear.
Reapz is pinging off the walls. It's going to get
pinging, dude.
better as
I'm going hard.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But how's the start of your years been so far, boys? What's been happening?
Good. I'm doing really well. I've got 5.5 million views in the past 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's chugging along. I've got 2 Stream Scheme videos fully edited. They're going out over the next 2 weeks. I've got another 7 shorts scheduled out, and I've found an editor to take on some shorts while I'm away next week. And then I've got I've also got an LJ video that's pretty much entirely done. And I think people will probably be keen to hear about this. I did my first, what I'm calling my first official YouTube stream. I did the one at the end of last year to try it out. Did it this year, 88 peak, which I think is massive. I was talking to a few people and they were like, oh, LJ, you lost like 50 viewers then because you're normally sitting at like 130. But I was like, not quite. I gained 88 viewers, right? Like actually way more than that if my retention rate had been better, but I made a mistake. But essentially like all those viewers that came into that stream were brand new audience members. In the last like 6 months of streaming on Twitch, I don't think I got anywhere close to 88 new people in the stream at one time, other than like raids, but I don't include that.
Yeah. So how many streams total have you done on the channel
on YouTube?
Now? Yeah.
Just 2. This was my first official one at the start of the year. Like it was on the start of this week or end of last week. But a really cool thing about it was I think it would have been way higher if I had fixed my retention rate a little bit. I went into it with an idea of I was going to do a live version of the video that did really well. So hatch all these eggs to try to get a shiny starter, trade all the shinies out. And so my title and stuff was wonder trading all these things, right? And then what happened was people were clicking on it and we were having a large drop in retention because people were leaving because most of it was the egg hatching, not the trading, but the title and the thumbnail were based on the trading concept. So if I had made it something like shiny hunting Charmander or something like that, I think the retention would have been way higher.
Right.
And so it was really cool. It's going to be, I think streaming on YouTube is going to be a massive learning experience. I'm going to have to keep picking up small things like this where it's like, I've got to be really smart about what content I'm actually doing on stream and does it match the click?
Right.
But I kind of love it though, because I feel like I don't ever feel lost. I didn't feel lost at all during it. It's almost like it forces you, by making it force you to do a title and a thumbnail, it forces you to come up with a real concept and real thought into it. It's like you can't just go live and chat or do, Jackbox, which I used to do all the time. Now it feels like I'm kind of forced to be creative. And I know that like, even if I drop from the 88 peak down to 67 or 68, which is what happened when I got a little bit later into it, I feel like it's not a bad thing because I know the video is going to stay forever and people are going to watch it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just find it was a really, really good experience. So I think that the 2 learning processes for me will be make sure that my click matches what they click onto and see, right? And then the second is that I found it so relaxing. Like, I think a lot of you guys, a lot of the guys from the Discord rocked up near the end. But that first like 2.5 hours when I was just chilling, chatting to people was so like relaxed, right? Like big viewer numbers, doing really well, like in terms of starting out. And I had no stress. I didn't care if people were paying for the memberships. I didn't care if the views were up or down. I was just doing what I did and knowing that it would be more content out there for people. Took a lot of stress off. Took a huge amount of stress off.
That's good. It's awesome. Good also, isn't it, for like the algorithm, because you've got your shorts, you've got your long form, and then you've got your streams that all match the same genre or niche, which I think, as you said, feeds into each other quite nicely. Was they're like, oh, that's all content. We can just spread that out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And obviously with the short update, like every time someone looks on a mobile phone at my shorts, and if I'm live at that time, it comes up in the bottom left saying live now. And I could actually see that I was getting a shitload of clicks from what's called other YouTube features, which I believe is that system because they haven't got it sorted out in the analytics yet. And I could see that. But again, I had like 1,800 live views, which means 1,800 people clicked, unique people clicked. It's not the same as Twitch, where if you had 1,800 live views, that's also a fuckload of bots and that's a bunch of other stuff. Like this is like, these were 1,800 uniques, I believe. And yeah, my retention was just really rough because it just wasn't matching. So that's a really cool thing to learn. But I think also the stream had like 60 people click remind me. So the stream stays up at the top of the channel. And and it got like 30,000 impressions over the space of a week because I scheduled it out, and then a week later, obviously I did the stream. And so every person who visited my channel to watch other videos, or who maybe they watched a video or a short and they're like, I want to see what else this guy's got. At the very top of the channel, it says, hey, he's going live on this date. Do you want to be reminded? And if they click remind me, that's just them getting a ping when I go live.
That's cool.
That's awesome. It's like exactly like, when you do like a video premiere, right? Where it like YouTube puts it kind of at the top of the channel, be like, hey, this thing's going to come out soon. Like get notified for it.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. It was a really cool experience. And I think if you looked at it purely from an idea of going from 130, 140 average down to, 70 average or whatever it was, I think it was 69 actually. Then it's like,
Nice.
it's like, that's crap. You lost a lot of viewers. But if you look at it from the concept of, no, you had a ridiculous amount of new people. Like, I think it was maybe like 5 people who came across from my Twitch. I didn't ping my Discord. I didn't do any of that. I just went live and didn't like push it anywhere else because I wanted to just focus on that. And yeah, I look at it with the concept of, at one point you had 88 brand new people on your first ever official, like your first one that's like going just to them. And you averaged like 69, right? Which I think is kind of massive. I don't know.
That is big. I mean, look, I'd like to see a Twitch channel that had no external input from the platform itself, get that average on their second stream. So this is,
How did you find the users that came into your stream? Did you think that, some of them were young, some of them were old, some of them were like vibing? Because, we talk about kind of the community that you want to build when you start, live streaming and, the people you want around. Were you happy with everything?
I think that it's a bit of an awakening for me that I'm inevitably going to have a bit of a younger audience, but that's not because of the platform. It's because of the content I've decided to make. In the terms of I'm making short format content in Nintendo and Pokemon, which means the audience will naturally be a little bit younger. But it didn't annoy me because there was still a good balance of people who were like normal, teenagers or adults and stuff. But also, again, I think that the big powerful part of it all is that I don't need to stress about my chatters because as long as I'm talking about the game and doing other stuff like that, I can engage them if I want or I can not. But the concept that I keep thinking to myself is, and this is a part of the reason why I think I struggled near the end of that stream, was that it's not necessarily about the live interaction. It's about making something that anyone can watch, right? After, during, whatever it is. And so I wasn't too worried if the chat got a little bit rowdy. But I also think, and this is a personal critique, I shouldn't be mad at young people.
No.
Because I think that there's actually a lot of young people who do just chill and vibe. Like, I think if you go to Small Ants chat or Alpha Rad's chat, they have a young audience, right? But I think that as long as you as a streamer know how to handle and kind of rally or herd them, it's kind of fine. Like, for a while there, we had this joke going where every time I hatched an egg, I was trying to hatch Charmanders, but I'd messed up all my sorting and cleaning up. So I was accidentally hatching a Quaxley every like 4th or 5th egg, right? And I was like, no, not the ducks, come on. And then it became a meme where people were like, duck squad, hatch the duck, it's a duck, and like people were like, worship the duck, hail the ducks, and that was fine, right? And I pretended like that annoyed me to like get them to keep going and stuff like that, because the whole idea was if the entire chat is constantly saying, hail the duck, well, there's not going to be any issues, right? I can just play off that. That's content. They feel engaged. But I will say, I noticed something really interesting. And that was if your viewers aren't active, if they're entirely lurked or tabbed out or doing something else, you do lose those viewers, which I think is the reason why my average dropped from like 80 down to 69 near the end. Because I was noticing anytime it went down to like 69, 65, whatever it was, if I told everyone, pray for the shiny luck, and I had like, fuckloads of messages come in, everyone's typing shiny, everyone's praying, everyone's doing all that stuff, right? Then my average would instantly jump by like 30 viewers. And there was no time for them to be like, it wasn't like a 5 minutes later it would jump. It was like, bam, instant. And to me, if it's instant like that, but there was no spike in live views and the way it worked, it means that, okay, people weren't counting as viewers. And when they engaged, they started counting as viewers again, which is an interesting way of looking at it. But I think it makes sense to avoid, obviously people getting shitloads of view bots or people getting a crap load of lurkers and just like surviving. It also ruins embeds, which I think is kind of cool. But it was an interesting thing to learn because that happened like 3 times. My average would drop. I would say pray for the shiny luck, something like that. Heaps of people would, and it would jump by like 20, 30. And like, as long as I kept it going, I could see that happening without any delay.
Okay. I guess I'd be curious to know how it differentiates from like what is an actively engaged viewer versus someone who's just got it in the background. Like, if someone's purely just, their main focus is your stream, they're just watching it, but they don't want to chat and they're not clicking around doing anything else. Like,
I think if the video is front and center, it seems like it counts it.
Okay.
How about people with multiple monitors where it's like you got one on the side?
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard to test, but all I know is that it definitely feels like there's some rule there about engagement versus active versus whatever it is and how it works, because it was definitely doing stuff. Yeah.
I also think with YouTube as well, there's a different way of browsing. For instance, when you go to Twitch, you would go to a category, let's just say League of Legends, and then it usually goes by most watched to least watched or whatever it is. I find that I don't think people will go to YouTube and go to the categories of Pokemon. I think that they will just be, as you said, with the algorithm, be pushed out lives that would interest them rather than them kind of seeking it out and going to a category, which I think is really cool. So I don't think viewers mean as much, not in the sense that always you want more viewers, but in terms of like, as long as you're going live and you've got like a good base of people talking and stuff, then I think that's a win more so than the number that you see projected on your screen at Twitch, where it is just like they count it as live views, even though they're not live or it's bots and things.
Well, those average viewers on Twitch just mean so much to Twitch, right?
Yeah,
like it's like when you're streaming on Twitch, the average viewers you have are make or break. That is how much money you're going to make. That is how much of everything you're going to have. Like that is it. And when you end, they all disappear. And that's why it is so important that you have a high number, is because they're not doing anything afterwards. But as we know, when you're on YouTube, having low viewers doesn't mean that you won't get recommended. Having a high retention rate means you will get recommended, right? Yeah. Having good engagement, lots of chatters and stuff like that. So it's really interesting because on Twitch, it's literally all about how many viewers you have. It's the kingmaker system. But from what I'm finding on YouTube, it's just about making good quality content and then making it watchable and engaging for anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's been a really valuable lesson to learn. And I think that's part of the reason why it was so much less stressful to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I don't think every stream will do as well as that first one. I think maybe it'll start to dip now a little bit because the shorts are starting to dip a little bit off, like the huge virality that I've had this month. And I'm curious to see what it
virality back. You can get that virality back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. I've learned so much over the past month, right? Like I've learned so much about how it all works and like engagement rates and retention rates and stuff like that. Whether or not I'll be able to capture that lightning again, I think it won't be a matter of, it's got a little bit of luck attached to it, obviously.
Sure. But I also think it's a matter of not if, but when. Because, I mean, I think you put out good content, good quality content. You're happy doing the content, which I think is a big motivator for people. Because when you're not happy doing the content, obviously it becomes harder and harder to actually get something out. It takes longer and longer to do. I would like to ask as well, because I came, obviously I was there for about half an hour.
You got timed out because my bot wasn't set up right.
Yeah. And basically, it was great. Like in terms of, you seemed very laid back and very chill, and you're having it just seemed like you said you were feeling comfortable, and it looked like you felt comfortable on stream again, because it's always hard going back to streaming after, a month or two off. You feel those nerves and everything, and it's just like blur. I'd like to ask though, at the end, did you do the thing where you raided to like one of your videos, or did you just shut it down?
No, so I shut it down because the raids you need either to post the link a bunch, or you need to do a premiere. Like if you want to use the official premiere, if you want to use an official raid, it has to be like the video is a premiere right now. You're raiding to it. And I didn't have one set up to go, and I hadn't really practiced it. But also I didn't want to raid a random person, and I didn't want to post a bunch of links telling people to go watch stuff because I didn't know how. I don't know if I agree with people saying to post a link or to do that raid yet. Because my big concern is sending 50 people to a video and majority of them only watching 20 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm sure YouTube's smart. I'm sure YouTube understands how those like direct links work. But personally, I am still not entirely guaranteed that I feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
Maybe when I'm much larger and people are much more fanatic, maybe like in the sense that they would watch anything I do. Because that's the old rule of thumb that I think a lot of people forget, right? People constantly forget that the big guys can make anything and they're going to get shitloads of views on it because their viewers are more fanatic, right? They're willing to absorb anything. Like I've watched some videos by Ludwig that are absolutely trash, and he knows they're absolutely trash, but he's doing it because it's just, he knows he'll get views on it and make some cash. And when you're larger, you can do that. But I think at my size right now, I'd be very careful, right? This is a big
trust.
Yeah, this is a big question that people have been asking a lot in the Stream Scheme Discord these last week. Obviously, with school and work going back, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time to upload a video this week, or I'm halfway through an edit. What do I do? And I keep saying the same thing. If you rush out content, that doesn't mean you're doing like successful. It doesn't mean you're going to grow. If you release every single week, that doesn't inherently mean you're going to learn from it. Like I see people releasing like 3 videos a week and I'm like, what have you learned? I got nothing, right?
Yeah.
They're like, but you said the more I release, the more I learn. And I said, yeah, if you actively review and improve as you go, right? They missed that entire step. And so there are people who have wasted like an entire year just uploading for the sake of uploading. And I just feel like people miss that really important step, especially when you're small, of uploading consistently, but balancing the ability to learn from every single upload.
Yeah, putting enough effort in where it's like you're actually applying something you learned or something you saw as feedback on your previous video. Like there has to be some sort of improvement and growth as you go along.
Yeah. But no, people just upload for the sake of uploading, and so for me, I'm going to be very careful about making sure that I'm not uploading purely for the sake of it. And the streams I'm just going to do kind of as a bonus thing.
Yeah, I think you had a good plan with like every 2 weeks, and then on the weeks off you've got your long form video, and then on the week off it's your stream, which is like another long form video, which is a good idea. I think
it's just a nice way to convert viewers from being just random viewers into people who really like the content.
Yeah,
because everyone knows that when you actually like stream, it kind of takes that wall down.
Yeah,
I don't know about you guys, but like I find that streams on Twitch, people become way more heavily connected and engaged to you as a person and your content, and they'll always keep coming back, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a YouTube video, I go through these time periods where I'll binge a YouTuber for like 2 months and then completely forget they exist and come back 6 months later.
Yeah. That's very, very true. I think you're right. In Twitch is very personality based. You go there for the personalities because that's all you've got to go on. Like I would say there is high quality content, but let's be honest, if you're streaming 4 or 5 days a week or whatever that most full-time streamers do, you can't really be original all the time or do something creative every single day. So you do go back for the person that they are more so. While with YouTube, as you said, it is like, I love this content. I want to absorb more, say Pokemon or shiny hunting or, trades. And this person like really is a great person on top of that. I think you're dead on the money when it comes to that.
Yeah, so I think the streams, to me, I look at it as like, did you enjoy these shorts and these videos you watched for this week? Well, then I'm live now talking to you guys. And then it goes, here's more of those content. And if you enjoyed that stream, you'll probably enjoy the content that I release. And then it's kind of like I'm trying to make it like a circle while always putting the idea of quality content first and engagement as like a byproduct of doing it.
Yeah.
It's also why I reply to like most comments, right? Like I try to go through a shite load of comments.
But Nick, we have trampled on your theme for this week.
You asked
Do you want
a question,
to give it
right?
to us?
I did. It's all good.
No,
though.
I didn't mean that in terms of like I kept going on. Anyway, continue on.
No, it's all good. But yes, no. Like, it's really nice hearing about your progress, Eljay. This been really cool, and so it's gonna be awesome to see how things go. But today we're gonna be talking about some fun stuff here. As the little tech guru here, it kind of lined up nicely that CES just happened. This like past week. And for those that don't know what it is the Consumer Electronics Show, and they hold it in Las Vegas every single year around this time.
Woo,
and it's basically
Vegas. Woo, sorry.
Woohoo!
I've never been. I wanted to feel included. Go on.
I've been to Vegas once, but I was a young child, and all I remember is walking up the strip with guys just flicking like little like nudie cards in your face constantly. Yeah, they're just everywhere.
Sheesh. All right.
It is. It's a time. But essentially, for CES is basically like the E3 of consumer tech. Companies are flexing all different types of stuff, new things that they're working on, concepts. Some of it's really cool and interesting and useful, and then there's other things that are a little bit wacky and weird, and you kind of left wondering, who actually approved some of these things. And so I'm gonna read you guys a few announcements I think were cool, which sort of kind of relevant. I think we all might be interested in, and then we're gonna be playing a little game of real or fake.
Ooh.
Where you guys will have to decipher if the announcement that I'm reading out, the product, is a real announcement that was made, or if it was a fake one that I came up with, that I concocted in my brain. But yeah, we've got a few cool things. BMW unveiled the new car called the iVision D, and it's a very high-tech car. You can dim the windows, but it also has color-changing exterior using e-ink.
Yeah, I saw this. That was really peculiar when I saw it live. I was like, can it change to any color? Or is it like we've got a set menu of colors here that we can change to?
32 different colors.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's great for like when you're, running away from the cops and you need to quickly, change your kind of look and feel of everything.
Right? You run into the spray paint shop.
Yeah, exactly. It's an on-the-go spray paint shop for sure.
We're looking for the blue new high-tech BMW. This one's red, but it's got the same number plate. No, it's red. It's got to be different.
We don't want to, upset the civilians. That's pretty cool.
The funniest part about it, though, so it also, they've done something with the windows as well, where it projects a 3D avatar of yourself on the window. So you don't even need to roll down your window to interact with people on the outside. So you,
Wow.
So you can roll up to Macca's and you don't have to roll down the window. You just have the avatar just on the window.
That is...
Yeah.
We're living in a world. Have you Wall-E, where they're like, everyone's kind of like obese and they're on like those big old deck chairs with VR on them so they don't have to communicate with people around them? I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that type of a world where we're so insular.
There. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. We're going to be there. We're going to be all like fat, chubby people just rolling around, needing the chairs to go everywhere. But staying on the...
introduce hover chairs, I feel like we're going to hit an issue. Because I live in a townhouse complex, right? Mm-hmm. And a new neighbor has just moved into one of the townhouses. And he needs to use one of those electronic chairs, one of the ones that has like the thing like that, right? And I see him kind of zipping around and stuff like that. Lovely guy as well. But I saw this morning, he was trying to get down through a pathway. Okay. And it's got fully accessible little ramps and stuff. But it would not go up the little like ramp to get up to this pathway to go down through the complex. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, it's just, unless we introduce hover chairs, our planet is not built for people who need a chair. Have you thought about that? Like, I was also reading, apparently, in Australian Parliament, all of the office doors are too small for wheelchairs to get through. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah. Because it's old, it was made in 1800s, 1900s and stuff where people,
Australia has one person who's in the Greens and he's like a part of like everything. And for his first 6 months in Parliament, he had to like get out of his chair pretty much, or like get lifted out of his chair to get through certain doors. And he ended up with these massive bruises all over his hands to try and like get through doors and down areas and stuff like that because it just wasn't accessible. And they did nothing to help him.
Of course not. Oh, why would they?
No, absolutely
We
not.
need hover chairs.
We need. Wait, hold up. That goes against everything that we're saying. We're going to become Wall-E too quickly if we get the hover chairs.
Imagine the application though.
Would you want to be part of the metaverse or a different VR universe when it comes to your hover chair needs?
Okay, here's my question. If you had to live in one tech-based movie universe, what would it be? Like tech-based in the sense of like, you know how like Terminator is technically like, so we've got some sci-fi techie stuff in it. Even that counts.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's a tough one because obviously you want like something more utopian than dystopian. And I'm trying to think of what some good worlds where they can just instantly like heal you and things like that. You know what? Going for it. Yep. Okay. Jason, was it Jason X where he's in space?
You're going to pick a horror film.
Listen.
One of the worst Jason films ever.
It is the worst Jason film, but they've got the use of nanobots and he comes back as Mecha Jason. And I'll be like, dude, if I get absolutely like run over by a car, I can come back as Mecha Reapz and just, be beefed up to the gills. Anyone in front of me will be scared. It'll be great. So I want to live in a nanobot, and that's definitely Jason X. So, yep, that's my pick.
Does it have to be movies or can I pick a game?
No, I want movies.
Movies? I think iRobot.
Okay.
The one where all the robots came to life and started murdering everyone.
Look, but besides that part, everything else is pretty good.
But it was
the
never
humans.
solved.
Yeah.
It was never solved. It was like, oh yeah, no, the robots are fully sentient now. That's the end of the film. They're gonna go live in the trash heap.
But the whole point of the film, right, was that they tried to blame it on this robot who didn't do it, and then it was like, working together. So yeah, I see what you're talking about, Nick. You want people and robots to get along, apart from those murderous ones who don't at all. Is that what you're saying?
Is that the one where Will Smith's arm is robotic and he and he tries to pretend he's not? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
It's if you think about it, iRobot was just the precursor to Detroit, in a way. Well, for one of the Detroit stories.
For the androids,
Detroit Become Human.
Do you mean Detroit Become Human?
Detroit Become Human.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
not really, because Detroit Become
is
Human.
known for RoboCop.
No,
RoboCop is a good
Detroit
place.
Become Human. They're still subservient, but in iRobot, that's the whole point of that plot is that they become non-subservient.
Well, yeah, at the end of it. Well, that's kind of the same thing. It's all like, the robots are getting independence in Detroit Become Human as well. You've got the one plot line of the disgruntled cop working with the robot.
You mean it's just like inspired? I thought you meant like you're pretending like they're in the same universe. And
No.
I
I meant, iRobot was like the precursor to Detroit Become Human.
I reckon they need to make a movie where it is AI rebelling against humans. But the thing is, every single movie like that is like actual androids or robots rebelling against humans. I want to see like Alexas and Siris rebel against humans.
I'm
so it's
sure
just
it's
like
been
verbal.
done. I'm sure that exists.
verbal.
Dude, okay, throw it. It already kind of exists.
Yeah.
Digimon did it years ago. Just saying, one of the best films Digimon ever did. Just
Never
throw it
seen
out
it.
there. And then Summer Wars as well is technically
Summer
that.
Wars is great.
I haven't
Summer Wars
seen
is
it.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's funny though, because I'm literally referencing the movie that the director of Summer Wars, a few years, like couple years prior, he was hired to do the Digimon movie, right? And he made the Digimon movie. And then a few years later, he was like, I really liked making that film. I'm going to make it again, but slightly different. And literally just made the exact same plot. Same story, everything. But then put it in, called it Summer Wars.
Yeah.
Down to the point where like the avatars they use to fight in like the digital verse, one of them is like just a rabbit, a kung fu rabbit, which is literally just one of the Digimon.
It was really just like, I want to do it again, but I want to do it different. And then
I've never seen
literally
it,
what Eljay said.
Apparently the reason he did that was because the Digimon franchise wouldn't let him do a couple things that he really wanted to do in the story. And so he was like, fine, I'm going to make the first part of that film as a feature-length one. And to be honest, Summer Wars I do think is a better film, and it adds a lot to it. And if you haven't, you should check out Summer Wars. One of the few movies I bought on Blu-ray, not because I wanted to watch it, but because I wanted to support its sales.
I got to look it up. But it's kind of like, how about Ready Player One? Would you want to live in a Ready Player One universe that's...
Isn't that just like Cyberpunk though at that point? Like corpo running everything kind of thing? Yeah.
And the only way you can escape is through virtual reality. And they sell it obviously at the same time as well.
I think if I was going to do Ready Player One, I just want it to be Cyberpunk.
Okay, fair enough.
Because at that point, it's like the Ready Player One universe from reading the book is not as fun as the idea of living in a cyberpunk. Cyberpunk seems worse in terms of like how people are treated, but I think it's more interesting at the same time.
So, LJ, where would you like to live if you had to live in a sci-fi universe?
Oh, can I live in the Deus Ex universe? Because it is a book. I think it's a book first.
All right,
but it's
that's
not
fair
a
enough.
movie.
Ooh.
Deus Ex, okay,
I feel like because so you guys know the Deus Ex Revolution game series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's got a whole book and like stuff like that, but it's not a movie. Can I count that because it has a book?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Just
Who cares?
why not? Yeah, throw it in the wind. Yeah, it's all good. But no, that's really interesting.
Although actually, I don't know if I want that one because that one has the whole point of, hey, if you get the biotech and stuff like that installed in you, you have to spend the exorbitant amount of money on the drug so your body doesn't fight back against it.
Correct, yeah.
Oh,
so I wouldn't even get to have all the fun biotech.
I'll be honest. I haven't played the Deus Ex games. But I've wanted to try them for a long time, but I didn't know that was a thing that they have to take the drug to fight off.
It's like the main like whole thing of everything. The whole reason why the world is struggling is because again, corpo takes control. Oh, shock and horror! Every single tech-based game or movie or book is all about how corporations have taken control.
Oh my goodness!
Blade Runner. I would live in Blade Runner 2042.
Oh, 2049?
Oh, it's 2042, isn't it?
I thought 2049. I could be wrong.
Is it 2049? Am I? Yeah, it is 2049. Yeah.
But I think it's like a Battlefield 2042. Like it goes in my head as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would live in that universe mainly because I feel like as a human being, I wouldn't get into trouble. They're gonna be like baseline. I'm gonna be like, all right, and then it's like
you shaft.
Okay, if you guys have seen Blade Runner recently, that would be a fucking hilarious joke.
I have not seen. I don't remember it. So
The whole
Blade
point
Runner's
is the
great,
androids. What they do is they go up to them and they go baseline test, and they ask them questions, and they have to answer them. And depending on the answer, you can tell by the eye movement if they're like breaking from the android code, like breaking from what they're supposed to be. And I thought in my head just then, if they asked me baseline,
You would
I
do
to
a
prove
bass
I'm
drop.
human, I would just literally do a baseline. I don't know. I shouldn't have to explain my jokes to you people. All right, come on.
Can I just say, complete aside before we go back to Dick, other CES announcements? Blade Runner, I think, has the best showdown between a protagonist and an antagonist ever in movie history.
First or
at
second?
the very end. What was that?
First or second?
The first one. The first one.
Right.
Yeah,
Dude,
Rutger
we had to study
Hauer.
in film school, and for like 3 years after studying it in term one, it was literally, we just walk around to each other and go, like tears in the rain. I've seen starships over Orion.
It's the best showdown ever. It's so good. Anyway, I'm sorry, Nick. We've gone on a tech tangent.
the tangents are the best part. No,
That's
you're
true.
good.
That's
I
true.
bet the
All
ramen
good.
in the Blade Runner universe is so good though.
Oh, it does look good. Like, especially
like-
when like there's big old, those billboards showing them. Oh, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Dude, the amount of MSG I bet the Blade Runner universe has in their ramen, I bet is so good.
Umami out the wazoo for sure. Oh,
That's the key to the future. Is just more MSG in
MSG.
our bodies. Yeah.
Why is it, by the way, that when we look at the future tech, that everyone always leans into the idea of like, even if you're in the West, we're going full like Japanese tech, everything with the lights and the neon and the ramen bowls everywhere?
I guess they see them as the leaders in like technology. Like they see Japan as the full.
I guess they were back when a lot of the
Yeah.
source material it's based on was written, right? Like back in the early days, they were the tech, right?
Yeah.
Even today there's some pretty cool shit in Japan. That's why I want to visit Japan so bad.
It's the meme.
So many
It's the
things.
meme.
The meme.
Cool shit anywhere else. Cool shit in Japan.
The robot cafes, all the cool stuff they make. So everything. But on the another little small one on the line of cars, everyone's favorite game company Sony has teamed up with Honda to make a new electric car called Afeela.
I feel that. What?
Yep. AFEELA. Afeela.
Does the chair have small hands underneath it that
Yeah.
stop your ass?
I really hope
Every time
so.
you accelerate, it goes.
It's like,
the
what's
stick
that?
shift something else. Yeah.
It's just the massager in the chair. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But no, they're apparently teaming up on this car. It's going to be sort of quite high tech. There's going to be a lot of AR, like augmented reality stuff inside the car, and they're going to be releasing it in 2026.
So
apparently.
what's the big idea here in terms of like they're teaming up? Is it just like we're going to make it look cool, or is it like we're
I actually
gonna
read this
put it-
one, and I can give a small explanation. So it's called a feeler, and you know how mood rings work, Reapz? When you have a mood ring on, it changes color. So the car senses your feelings, and it'll blare out music really loudly to the people around you based on it. So if you're having some road rage, it just starts yelling slurs and expletives and stuff. It's a real swing for the fences by Sony, but I think there's a market for it.
Yeah. Because you blame the car. You go, it's not me. The car doing it. What do you mean?
Wasn't
yeah.
me. Oh,
Yeah.
but you don't have a feeler. That doesn't come out for 2 more years. No, it's the car.
No. Talk to my avatar in the window right there as I change colors
That's
to
just
red.
a cardboard cutout that you've glued to your door.
Instead
Cardboard
of
AI.
Instead of a bunch of honking and like peak hour traffic at a standstill, it's just a bunch of like automated voices just swearing at each other.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's the future that I look forward to.
It's like the Bumblebee where it just changes radio stations to form a sentence. That'd be great. Yeah. I like it. That's
That was
great.
one of the most clever parts of Transformers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
That was the Transformers
only
movies.
clever part.
Whoa. Megan Fox was a clever hire.
She was pretty clever. I mean, yeah, she was very clever when I looked at it. Okay, sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
So Sony,
okay.
Honda, they're coming out with a car called Afeela in 2026, and I'm guessing it's just a partnership. Like, in terms of, is it like Sony, like, here's our franchise, is it going to be part of the car? It's just like, no, Sony's getting into the car business now.
No, I think purely a partnership. I honestly, I think it just depends if this car actually makes it to market and sort of how it performs. But yeah, I think it's just sort of partnership where Sony, very sort of up forward in sort of like more technological departments. So like they'll be handling a lot of the inside of the car and sort of the user interface and all that stuff. Apparently, it's got like this giant like screen that stretches from the left to the right side of the car. It doesn't look like super futuristic or anything. It's kind of very mute in its design. But yeah, apart from that, we don't really know much about it. Just that they're working on a car and it's got a really weird name.
Okay, fair enough.
That's about it. Cool. However, now you might have heard this one. Samsung, all right? They understand short form content, right? It's all the rage. It's all the rage. So they're bringing out a new fridge that has a 32-inch touchscreen on it, 16 by 9. So that way, when you're in the kitchen, all right, you're making breakfast, you can watch your TikToks on a nice big 32-inch screen.
Yeah, that's genius, obviously, for it's TikTok. Have you seen there's some grocery stores, I believe the example I have is from America, where they actually have screens on the cold section, you know what I mean? And it shows you what's behind the screen. So instead of opening up and letting all the cold air out and they pay higher electricity bills for it or whatever, you just see it and you're like, oh, that's what I want. Yes. And then you open it and get it rather than just leaving it open. It's the weirdest thing.
Hey, I'm going to throw out a little scientific tech that I came up with called a glass fucking door.
I know. It's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. So what you could do is you go up to it, right? And you're like, let's just say sliced ham. And it's like, it needs to be chilled. So you click on the sliced ham and then it shows you all of the, like this amount of sodium, this amount of sugar and stuff. And then you can like go, yeah, I want that. It's so odd and weird. And I mean, I don't know how I feel that it looks cool, but I'm just like, as you said, don't we just use glass doors?
It's made me angry. You've made me angry.
Yeah. Don't make me. I didn't do it.
You've ruined my day, messenger. You will be shot.
What the? Get out of here. Sorry. No, it was very weird.
It's so dumb. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway, you said we say American supermarkets? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I'll see if I can find the clip and I'll put it up. But oh, boy. Continue on.
Okay. Well, final one before we get to our little game. ASUS have created a new 1080p gaming monitor that can go up to 540 hertz refresh rate.
What?
So they're just continuing to push the barrier of the performance of monitors. And you know what? Honestly, I was really happy with this announcement. It's really nice that ASUS have created a product to help Reapz get better at Overwatch. So I can't wait for this.
I love that you picked the one game where it's so slow. In terms of those types of games, it's like Valorant, like CSGO, all this stuff where it's or even Call of Duty and stuff like that, where everyone's moving so quickly doing all that stuff. And then there's Overwatch, where even competitive Overwatch is just
okay. Yeah. Now I completely disagree, but I will just sit back and.
I mean, Overwatch is the main thing he plays, so that's where
he also plays Winston. So
I do not play Winston. Let's just continue on. How dare you all?
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that whole text is going to keep flowing down. It's only it's not in terms of visual quality. This 540 hertz panel is not going to be great. It's purely just literally just a flex, I think, from ASUS, just trying to be the first one to have high refresh rates and this and that. But eventually, those high refresh rates will tick on down to better looking monitors. But now,
I think they will, though. Do you think people actually want that much refresh rate? Let's be real. I think the majority of gamers, Steam has their poll, right? And it says that most people are using 1070s. That is the most common card in Steam gamers' computer is a 1070, right? Most people aren't sat there with a 4K monitor as well with perfect refresh rate. They usually have, some basic stuff. Maybe they got one good one and then one bad, really shitty one off to the side. I feel like to get something into the consumer market, it has to be something people are actually going to go out of their way to get. And I just feel like super high refresh rates and super high resolutions. I just feel like people aren't going to spend the cash on it.
We're very much nowhere near even having it feasible. It's even reached that kind of refresh rate. You'd need nothing less than a 4090, straight up.
For sure. And also,
even that,
I didn't think you'd be able to tell
even
the
a 4090
difference.
shit.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we've
yeah.
seen, the reviews have been brutal for Nvidia over the past week and a half of their releases, and then even the bloody is AMD yet? Even the AMD stuff is got bloody massive issues with overheating. Like
Yeah.
it's we're up the creek with these GPUs at this point. You need a warehouse and an AC unit just to run one of them for half of them, and then the other half are just $2,000 or more, and they don't do what they say on the box.
Facts.
Yes,
That's
true.
very, very true.
I'm not. I actually don't know what the sales numbers are, but I think the general consensus, a lot of people just aren't buying these new, the majority aren't buying these new cards. So people are somewhat voting with their wallets.
They had to
towards
unlaunch the
this.
40, one of the 40 series.
Oh, really?
They had to unlaunch it because it was so expensive and so bad. And then they relaunched a new one to make up for it, which was like $200 cheaper and the exact same card pretty much.
And
Oh.
it's still overpriced. It's
Yeah.
just
It was
unlo-
it was so stupid.
I think it gets to that point where it's like 540 hertz refresh rate, great, always good to, go faster and everything like that. But there will become a point where you won't be able to tell the difference between, say, 540 and 620 or the next one that comes out, because the human eye can only take in so much, motion and things. It's just like, I don't know.
I did a test. I streamed a couple of times, and I did a test where I was trying to figure out whether or not I wanted 60 frames per second or if I wanted 4K and 30, right? Obviously, the stream can't be 4K, so I was doing 4K everywhere and then squishing it down to 1080, right? Which still gives you a higher resolution, right? That's the thing we've done in filmmaking for ever since 4K existed, because most of the time you can't actually export 4K until recently when YouTube and stuff started caring, right?
Yep.
And for films and things, people weren't taking 4K. You'd get yelled at if you tried to submit to a festival and it was 4K. So you just export as 1080, which would get you all those 4K pixels, that crispness, and give you a really nice image. But I did a month worth of streams where I would switch back and forth between 60 frames per second 1080 and 30 frames per second 4K, obviously downsampled into a 1080p stream. And almost every single person would rather have the 60 FPS than the 4K, which I thought was really, really interesting. They were just way more into seeing the webcam or the actual cam have super clear, everything look nice and smooth instead of the 4K.
Yep. I don't disagree with that, for the fact that sometimes 4K also shows every single blemish, and you're like, Jesus Christ, why? I don't want people to see this. Give me a nice filter or a matte or a loot over it. Oh God.
The amount of corporate gigs when I've been editing them, and then I've been we should not have shot this interview in 4K. We should not have done it. Right?
We needed nicer lighting. Yeah.
oh god, we
You're
can see
there,
all his
putting-
pores.
You're there putting masks in places and carefully removing things and coloring things at the end to make it clean and stuff. You're cool, I didn't have to use two cameras, so I can just cut in and have perfect 1080 still on a close-up. But then you're also damn, I can see up this man's nose and count the nose hairs.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's 8K, TVs out as well. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, they're going to see everything. They're going to see my soul. Yeah.
You're right though, in the sense that it gets to the point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I think for me, 120 FPS is kind of my ideal sort of gaming refresh rate. It's a noticeable difference between 60 and 120. So it's just so smooth. And for me, that's all I need. I don't need a 4K monitor. That's why I have 1440p monitors, and they're great. It's fantastic.
Yep.
So
Hot take, I don't give a fuck. Give me, as long as it runs somewhat smooth, I don't give a shit, right? If my game is 30 FPS and it doesn't look like it's juddering, I'm fine with that. I legitimately, I feel like the people who are so aggressive about oh my God, this game only runs at 30 FPS. You need to get a life. Legitimately. I find it wacky. And you can't, and people can't be oh, LJ, it's because you don't play action-paced games. It's shut the fuck up. Yes, I do. Right? Legitimately, I think that gamers have become so ridiculously entitled. And if you gave them 6 different clips and they were all different frame rates, I reckon 99% of them wouldn't get it right.
I agree with that. I do agree that I think a lot of people just know the buzzwords of 60 FPS, 144 hertz, and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, I need this. And because it's not on the, bit where it says the specifications, that means it's crap and things like that. But even in gameplay itself, people can't play a game that isn't 3D or isn't an FPS because it's a lower tier game, right? And you're just you are missing out on so many opportunities to experience a different way of actually something that you may really love. Like RTS. People don't play RTS for the simple fact that, it is usually 30 frames per second because you've got to do the wide expanding views and everything like that. And it's trash, it's trash, it's trash. And you don't need 60 FPS for most games, can we just say? Yes, FPS, I get it. You want it smooth, everything, I understand. But other games, yeah, you're right. You don't need it. Most of the games that we like to play, I think, boys, story-based, filmic type of games, like, it just feels so much better. But anyway, I'm preaching to the choir.
I don't know. I want to know, to viewers, resolution or frame rate?
What is more important to you? There's actually a new, I think it's a plugin for like one of the game engines someone developed, but it can essentially, it guesses what you're going to be looking at as you're moving like the camera. Because like as for those that don't know, the way sort of games work is they'll only be rendering what is like directly in front of you and then a little bit extra. So if you start
the way good games work.
Well, the way good games work.
Certain games,
yeah,
Pokemon, don't understand how to render just your vision and render the entire world at all times and never despawn them. What are you doing, Game Freak? What are you doing?
Figure it out. So like, and as you turn the camera, the game will start to render the things that are going to be coming into view. And then obviously, like it unloads anything you're not looking at anymore. But this feature that someone made essentially has like an algorithm that sort of does guesswork for what you're going to be looking at and everything like that. And they did tests on people who didn't know what was going on, and it can essentially make lower frame rates feel like it felt like higher frame rates, even though it was actually running at a lower frame rate.
Was it motion smoothing they used?
I can't remember.
Not.
I can't remember what it was. It wasn't just motion smoothing. It was actually like it would run. I don't want to go talking to my ass. I've forgotten. It's a Linus Tech Tips video, so it's worth giving a watch. Really interesting stuff if games end up utilizing it, because any game that technically can't sort of push higher than like a 30 FPS, this fills that gap to kind of boost the frame rate.
It could be like optical flow or something. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really cool stuff. Hopefully see it a lot more in the future.
Nice.
But now, time for game time, boys. It's game time. And viewers listening and watching at home or on your drive to work or anything like that, you can absolutely play along, all right? See if you can decipher whether what I'm going to be telling you guys is a real announcement or a fake one.
Okay.
And to begin... sorry, Reapz.
No. I'm just saying they can also let us know their score at the end as well. I'd like to see how I stack up against them. All right.
Yeah. Let us know how you did at the end. So, to start off with, a new drone has been shown off. And it's a drone for home. It's a flying security drone that can be controlled from an app. And it patrols your home when you're not there. Or you can tell it to fly to parts of the house to check on things. For example, like if you turned your bedroom light off, or if you left the the stove off, or stove on. Words. Real or fake?
Listen, we live in a very high security world where everything has to have cameras at the moment, and I would not put it past some very doom preppers to see a market for this. So I'm going to go true.
Okay, I'm going to go, everything I'm going to do is going to be opposite of Reapz. So I'm going to say false. Otherwise, the game doesn't feel fun for me. So I'm going to go, everything will be opposite of Reapz.
You got to go first next time, and then, oh God.
All right. Well, it is in fact real. It is a real product that is being announced by Ring, who make like the little
doorbells,
smart doorbells. Yep. It's a little drone. It's like a little square copter, and it's got a little essentially they've literally, the way it looks, they've stuck a Ring doorbell underneath the drone, and it just flies around, and that's it. And it's really cute because the way that you teach it how to to learn your house, you literally hold it and then on your phone, and you're like, this is the bedroom and this is the kitchen.
Dude, it's going to fly and then see the Roomba, and there's going to be a feud between the two of this is my area, you stay out. They just go towards each other.
I feel really, really, really weird about that concept because it just means that you're essentially filming yourself nude. Let's be real, right? How much, I don't know about you guys, but I walk around nude all the time, right? And I feel like that's fine when you're in your own home to walk around in your jocks and stuff like that.
But I do feel it's fine to walk outside nude. It's completely
it's fine. Sometimes I go down to the shops nude and it just happens. People get it. I live in a nudist colony.
Okay, that's fair.
But essentially, I just feel like more cameras in the actual specific home area where you are going to like be nude, it's just inevitably going to cause problems because we're in the age where we're able to build all this tech, but we're not in the age where we're able to protect all this data. Like Australia as a country has one of the worst cyber protection ratings of all time. We are in the age of cyber hacks. Like this is what's happening. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago, how many I've been in already, 3. And it's like, I'm not going to buy a camera that's going to be able to fly into my bedroom and my bathroom and my living room and stuff like that so that it can check on whether my stove is off. I'll just make sure I turn my fucking stove off. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like so ironic. And we're going to end up, the worst part is, right? All the people who are super into this, right? All the people who are like, yeah, I need a drone inside my house. I'm going to throw it out there. They're not the people whose nudes we want leaked. I'm just saying. Granted, we don't want any nudes leaked, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just like, it just feels like it's a bad idea.
Yeah. It's not gonna help you if someone hacks into the drone and starts flying it around. However, it's set up so that it only flies around when no one's home. So when you're home, it's just in its dock.
So the burglars outside see the drone starting to move and they're like, well, they're outside. Nobody's home. Let's go
big
in.
alert.
But the thing is also, why not just have cameras in each room? Why do you need a freaking drone that's like, bzzz, going through the house?
Also, there was that huge issue recently.
I guess.
There was a huge issue recently with the doorbells. Remember, they had this new doorbell that came out and these new cameras that came out. And they were like, yeah, it stores everything locally, so no one can ever hack your data unless they get on your local network. And then it was like, no, that was all a full fucking lie. They have a full digital cloud server and they're saving photos of every single person and actually trying to connect their faces to their IDs and make like catalogs of different people.
Yep. Well,
God.
What do you got to say about that?
Dumb. Why are we releasing our data? Why are we putting this stuff out there?
Yeah, like Google offers it as an optional like subscription thing where you can have your Google
Nest.
doorbell, the Nest, where it's like, yeah, you can have like smart recognition, so it can recognize certain people that come over.
My mate has a baby monitor, right? And he needs a baby monitor, right? That's not something you can just ignore. I'm just not going to check on my baby, right? That's not something you can ignore. So he has a baby monitor that is a camera that looks down in the crib so he can check on the baby throughout the night, throughout the day, stuff like that. And it just looks up on his little Google Home. That's just a camera that is in his house that is totally could be hacked. Pretty straightforward and easy. And I bet there's going to be someone in the comments who goes, well, actually, LJ, these things are very well protected. Yeah, that's what I got told about bloody 3 giant corpos that I was had things on, and they all got hacked. All right, that's what Apple told people. And look at the cloud nudes getting hacked. We don't want this stuff going out.
Yeah.
Okay. Like legitimately. Stop putting cameras up your butthole, all right? Unless you're a trained professional.
You need them for colonoscopies, but don't for security. Yeah.
That's it. All right.
Agreed.
Let's move on through. So next announcement. A new gaming chair was shown off that is completely covered in RGB. The chair uses a semi-opaque mesh-like material to line the chair and the cover, and it also works as a sort of diffusion layer for the RGB strips that lie underneath. So the chair can still be comfortable from the meshy material, but also create a bold diffused RGB look. Real or fake?
I wouldn't put it past it. People love RGB. Do I dare go 2 truths in a row? Is that how Nick would play this? I'm trying to metagame. But I definitely think this could be a thing. People love RGB lights even though they never use them. And if they can be like, my chair matches with my stuff. I mean, dude, do you want to go first, LJ? Or are you waiting for me?
No, you go.
See, this is a prick move.
You've said all your logic. Just answer.
I'm going to go true. I'm going to go true again.
I'm going to go false.
This is bullshit.
It is fake. It is fake. I concocted that one.
I could see a market though for it. You know what I mean?
Did you see the Macca's gaming chair?
Oh, I've heard about it. What was the whole thing?
Dude, I love it so much. It's like they just playing a joke, right? Where it's like a side, it's a Macca's, it's kind of like my chair, right?
Okay.
But except it's all Macca's colors, and there's a side table that has like a drink holder. The side table keeps your burgers and chips warm and stuff like that as well. it's all like grease proof and everything like that.
Oh, you did show me this. You did. Yes.
I think it's hilarious, right? It's not going to be a real product. It's just a meme. It's just playing along with it.
It's like a Doritos thing, yeah.
Dude, people got so angry. People got so mad being like, stop perpetuating stereotypes about gamers. Like, dude, come on. Chill out.
You say that, and I saw a thing on Instagram for these little like chopsticks that you wear on the edge of the fingers so you can game while still reach into the chip bag and eat them, and I need them.
They're just like plastic, like little tongs type thing. Yeah. I saw those as well.
Yeah.
Oh god,
they're the best. I need them. I need them in my life.
Hey, you know what? If you want it, go get it. Like that's the thing. Like if they even released a McDonald's chair, then it's up to you if you want to buy it. You don't have to buy it.
Here's my hot take.
Okay.
All right. Why are you shaming me as a gamer for wanting a grease-proof chair?
True.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Why
fair.
am I being shamed as a gamer for wanting a side table that keeps my chippies warm? All right. Let me live my life in peace. There's nothing wrong with having Maccas in moderation as well. Can we point that out? Nothing wrong with having some fast food in moderation. Obviously, there are health concerns if you're having it every day. But why am I judged for being a man who likes to have warm chippies?
Why is he, Nick? Answer.
Because society is sucking. That's it.
Society is sucking. That's the quote.
Yep.
Society
That's
is
it.
sucking. All right. Next one.
Next one. All right. Now, look, healthcare is a concern in many countries. So a new TV has been shown off that has a doctor inside it using an external camera sold separately. And by signing up to a health subscription service, your TV will be able to use a built-in app to take note of symptoms and connect you with a doctor in 1 to 2 minutes.
I see a market for this. I mean, I'm seeing a market for everything that you're pitching here, Nick. So even if it is false, you should definitely get a patent pending. I'm going to say true. Again, I'm going to say true. I think there's so many hypochondriacs out there that they're like, this is perfect.
I'm going to say false.
This is crazy.
This is indeed true. Hey! Samsung have a new TV coming out that has this feature. But as mentioned,
in my personal guess that I definitely believed in.
Yeah, you literally have to buy an Xbox Connect for the TV and sign up to this like a Connect-like device and sign up to a subscription service. So there's just extra cost involved just to have that.
This would have been great probably during the pandemic when you couldn't leave the house to see people, but not sure about the market now, but who knows?
Wait, is this more cameras in the house? Is this what this is?
Connect, yeah.
Yep. It's just, look, they made it optional. So like you're buying a TV, it's got a camera built in that's always looking at you. So they at least did that.
Can I throw out there? Trust me, this is connected. In my brain, this entire logic all connects together. Can I throw out there? Have you guys seen the Subway ad that was playing before Christmas? The one where the rabbit is really sad, the Easter Bunny is really sad, and then Santa delivers cookies to him and they go Cookie Miss, and now the Easter Bunny's not sad?
No, I haven't seen it.
Really?
No. I don't watch a lot of free to air. If it was on
okay, well, it was on YouTube. Don't try and throw me in that camp.
I got YouTube Premium. So.
I don't know the ad that you're talking about.
Damn it. That goes my entire story. Okay.
Yeah.
If you
makes no sense. Why is the Santa delivering to the Easter Bunny? Why is the Easter Bunny depressed? Like, he's depressed in it. He legitimately looks like he's like on the brink. Like, someone needs to call helpline for him. Like, I'm concerned. And then Santa rocks up and is like, just puts some cookies on the doorstep, rings the bell, and walks away. And the Easter Bunny answers the door and he's like, and like picks up the cookies, and you can see he's like realized there's things to live for as Santa walks away into the distance with a smile, knowing smile. And then Subway is like, have a cookie, miss, or not.
I need it.
They're polar opposites when you think about it. Like Santa Claus is about the birth of Jesus, and the Easter Bunny is like the death of Jesus. Maybe they're just trying to help each other out. Who knows?
Well, I don't understand. Why is the Easter Bunny depressed at Christmas? He gets a whole week.
Yeah, and why does he deliver chocolate eggs? I don't get the whole Easter Bunny thing. I don't get it.
Because he's magic. He poops chocolate eggs, clearly.
And we eat his Poop? Okay.
Yes.
This is
That's how it works. This is
Don't judge me.
This should
I'm
just
not
be
judging.
basic
I'm
knowledge at
just
this
saying I
point.
didn't know that's where chocolate
You
came
are
from.
judging me, just like hey, the society judged my greaseproof chair.
Okay. Here's a fun one.
All right.
A new modern day typewriter has been shown off, but it's got a bit of a twist. It's a haunted typewriter. There is a ghost AI living in the typewriter, and you can ask the AI anything by typing it onto the page, and the AI responds by typing back onto the page.
LJ, would you like to have your answer?
No, I'm happy to go second. You go ahead.
Right, that wasn't. Oh, God bless. It would be wrong of me to break the streak now. I'll say true.
I'm gonna say false.
Yeah. It is indeed true. It is real. Someone's made a new like the LJ's in shambles. He can't believe it. He cannot believe it.
I can't hold all these losses.
Yeah.
Those L's are so big.
But yeah, no, it was just a little concept someone made. Just a little sort of like chat AI they put in a typewriter, and then it just kind of like types itself back. It's kind of cool.
That is cool. I mean, I don't think you'd use it more than once, but pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Now, the next one, very helpful for people who can't afford, legal costs. Because, when you're dealing with a legal case, things can get pretty pricey. So a new AI has been developed to be your next affordable lawyer. This AI has been giving legal advice to users for the past couple of years. And now they're going to be taking to the next step and have the AI feed you legal responses during your court case.
This is just like the fucking I'm going to use an app to teach mental health stuff. It's going to go wrong and it's going to be trash and it's going to cause a massive issue because YouTubers will take on the sponsor and be like, hey, we're going to be sponsored by this thing and blah, 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 blah. And then like 6 months later, it's going to be like, yeah, they were stealing all of your data and like leaking it and then using it to advertise dildos to you.
Yeah.
But that's never happened to me. I will say, I think it's always hard. Like I'm thinking from like a actual corporation standpoint of if they get anything legal wrong, then there's a lot of ramifications. So I think it's a very risky thing to do to make an AI hold all this stuff. So I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say true because I think people are dumb. And that's definitely my personal opinion and not just me being a contrarian to Reapz.
Well, you're correct, LJ, in saying that people are dumb because this is indeed true. This is true.
God,
There's a real thing.
Dude, this is going to be like the Tesla cars, though, because if you guys didn't know, Tesla cars, when they checked the AI and the learning, it always would aim to attack people of color. Did you know that? Tesla cars, when like put up against a bunch of different options to crash, Tesla cars would always choose, rather than hit someone who was considered white to the camera, they would go after a person of color. This is the thing. I'm pretty sure this was Tesla cars, maybe other AI cars, but they were built so badly. Some of them were also built that they would go after people within like a wheelchair, or they'd go after people as like kids and stuff like that.
What do you mean
So
go
bad.
after? Like if the car's
So
out of
imagine
control.
a Tesla car is going to crash. It'll inevitably hit someone, right? And the study was shown that it would always choose to go after like minorities or people of color or people in wheelchairs and stuff like that. Or at one point they were going after kids. This was like a few years ago. I don't know if it's still the same thing, but it was wacky.
I didn't know about that.
Don't like that.
So this is gonna be one of those things. This lawyer is gonna be like, oh yeah, just tell the police that you've got drugs on you. It's gonna be fucked up. I reckon this stuff is gonna go badly. It always does.
I think it's just terrible to have an AI tell you what you do legally without knowing the full context of stuff. But hey.
Oh yeah. It's not definitely not a good idea, but unfortunately it is real. Next up, some new AR glasses have been unveiled. So a lot of companies have been pushing for like the sort of the AR glasses, trying to make them more glasses-like, less bulky. And a new company has come out with some AR glasses that come with an accompanying NFC ring. So you wear the glasses, like you've got like the little heads-up display on the glasses, but the ring will also acts as like your interface, like for interacting with the UI. So the same way, we would use a stylus to interact with a touchscreen, the ring is connected to the glasses, so you would interact with things. So you know how in those sci-fi movies you see people, they kind of like swipe and they tap things and it's changing thing. Essentially like that, but you're using the ring that's in tandem with the glasses.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Again, Nick, all of these things are so plausible. Like, I mean, Google Glasses. Remember that? Remember that shit? I'm just going to go false. I don't know. False.
True.
This is false. This is one of my concoctions. I felt pretty good. I thought this one was gonna pull the wool over your eyes on that one.
It's too fair. I don't feel like it's actually a thing. Like, here's the thing, right? The problem is that, as we know from any phone, right? Like, with AR tech in your phone, these things, the AR tech barely works, right? Like, Pokemon Go has it in there and it's like pretty damn good, but that's so basic. Like, other stuff, it rarely actually works. And I feel like that's the exact same with how a ring would be. And also, if you're going to use a ring, why not just have the watch do it, right? I just feel like it's one of those things where it's just like, we don't have the tech yet. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess because like if you'd have to go like this instead of, like with your finger. If it's on your finger, you can just kind of go like that.
Point a finger.
But it's
not, the watch the thing is, it wouldn't take the actual like data from the GPS because it's too smaller movements. It would have to go from like a velocity. So like the ring and the watch wouldn't change anything because doing that is velocity of moving left to right, and that would count as a swipe, right?
Oh no, because it's obviously it's Bluetooth to the ring, but it's also like you'll be looking at the ring as well through the glasses. The glasses also would be tracking. That's the thought process that I went on it. Where it also recognized the ring.
Sorry, I'm out. I can't invest.
Yeah. Shit.
We should do a Shark Tank. We should get viewers to come on and do like their best kind of, I don't know, content creation idea. And we go, pass.
Oh, that
would be good.
That would be interesting. Okay, so we all like to decorate our rooms, right? Decorate our setups. Some people like to use, fake plants.
Reapz.
The real plants,
This is why I've got a green screen right over there. I'm just gonna...
Well, boy, do we have the perfect product for you, Reapz. All right. So these are RGB plants.
Oh,
where each leaf is removable and replaceable.
Why do we need to put lights in plants? I'm going to do this for the sake. I'm sure it's probably again RGB, right? But I'm just going to say false for the fact that there's too much RGB, isn't there? There's too much RGB in this world.
All right. True or false? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said false.
I think it's true.
Yeah. The RGB plants is a real announcement from Razer.
Dude, okay, I'm going to say it. Razer, stick to keyboard, stick to mice. First the loop deck. Okay? Then they did the Siren Minis, right? Which are just like they look like little butt vibrators. And now they've got RGB plants. I feel like probably I'm going to get in trouble one day if Razer ever hears this stuff. But like, let's be real, Razer, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm just going to blur my screen right now so you can't see the disappointment on my face.
Yeah.
Also, can we all agree the Razer Synapse never works?
Yeah, I've never had a good time with Synapse.
I barely use it.
I tried, and it just it was so bad. It just didn't work. It was so bad. All of it's so rough. And also, got to point out, Razer, I used Razer's mice for so long, and now I'm on Logitech.
Wow. Big words here.
Yep.
Big words.
Logitech, definitely the way to go for mice, for sure.
Unbiased.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, so next up, we have a new health device. It hangs in your toilet bowl and analyzes your pee.
Oh.
And it sends the resulting data to a companion phone app. And it can tell you things such as nutrition, hormone levels, vitamin levels, and menstrual cycles.
What happened to the good old days of just peeing a little bit in a cup and tasting it and then being able to know whether or not you were healthy?
What was that second step? What's that second step you said?
You pee a little bit in a cup.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
That's the second step, wasn't it?
No, that was the first step. What you do before that?
You know you're healthy afterwards?
No, you said you pee in a cup and then the second step was...
You know if you're healthy.
No. Okay, see, here's the thing. I've got the power of video and audio on my side, and I could just replay it, right, of what the second step was that you said.
You pee in a cup.
Yep.
And you find out if you're healthy.
How do you find out if you're healthy?
from finding out if you're healthy in the cup.
You can't know. See, this is how I got it. You said something and it made me do a double take, and you can't gaslight me to thinking you didn't say taste your own pee. All right. God
You want to
damn
taste
it.
your own pee?
You said that. I'm going
Reapz wants to
to
taste his own pee?
No. This is unbelievable. Listen,
Reapz is just going to clip that part of you saying it. He's like,
Yeah, I'm just
I've
gonna
got
say
this
taste your own
forever
pee.
now.
It's going to be taste your own pee, taste your own pee. Anyway, dude, like again, all of these could definitely be a thing. Jeez. Why? But the thing is, like, would you have to clean it in between, urinating? Because wouldn't it hold like information from the previous time that you
Well, I
urinated
don't
on
clean
it?
the cup, so it's fine. I think you'd be okay.
No. No. It is sterile. I mean, I think it's false, but I'll say true. I'm going to say true.
I'm going to say false.
It's real. It is a real product that was announced. Yep, it was. It absolutely was. It's got like a little filter inside that you can replace and things like that. But it is
What a joy.
indeed real. I don't know how accurate this thing would be.
Oh God!
But
why?
it is a real product that was shown off by a new company.
I feel like pee is the wrong choice. You got to check the poo.
It's going to probably tell you a bit more info.
And I don't like when I have to poo in a cup, so I think I'd rather it be if a robot could do it.
Excuse me, Mr. Robot Butler. Could you please just, wipe me and tell me if I'm healthy?
No, you can't wipe. I went to the doctors a while ago and with a stomach issue, and he was like, all right, take this medicine. If it doesn't get better, take this cup and scoop some out when you're done. And I was like, okay, well, what is there any rules? And he was like, try to get as little water as possible in there. Don't pee during it. And don't put any toilet paper in there because that'll throw it off as well. So you have to poop and then scoop it. Luckily, the medicine helped, and I didn't need to scoop the dupe. But at the same time, apparently it's a big issue.
To have to bring in samples of your fecal matter and be like, this is what I've got for you.
Or you can't wipe. Nick said, excuse me, Robot Butler, wipe.
Oh.
But you can't wipe. It needs to be like an untainted sample. The toilet paper taints it.
Oh, there you go.
Would you boys ever invest in a bidet? Speaking of consumer appliances that you may want, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about getting a bidet.
I would rather hire someone to squirt water with a water gun.
Okay,
That sounds more fun. Here's the thing, though.
That's demoralizing.
When I was thinking of fake things,
job, Reapz?
yeah. When I was thinking of fake things to come up with, one of the ideas I thought of, and I couldn't come up with a feasible way to like make it believable, was an attachment, something you attach onto your existing toilet to add a bidet to it.
That's already exists. You just slap a bidet on it. You just swap it out. It's like a whole thing.
Just
It's not hard.
Okay, really?
That's what a bidet is 90% of the time. It's literally
just
just,
a No,
okay,
you
I took
you
my
have to-
toilet seat off, I put it on, and it's just a bidet.
You pop it on. No, something that's automated. You don't have to like remove anything. Something that it automatic, like instead of replacing the whole toilet, it's just you attach to the toilet and then the bidet.
That's literally what a bidet is. Yeah.
Yeah, but are you constantly swapping out, or is it just one thing, one and done?
It's just
on
one thing.
there.
That's all a bidet is.
It's like
I thought it was
imagine
a
a toilet lid. You know what I mean? The toilet seat. You just replace the toilet seat with that, and it's got like a bidet underneath it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I thought that like bidets were just separate things, and also
They can be. Like in Europe,
be.
they are separate things. So you've got your toilet, and then next to it, you've got your bidet, right?
Right.
But this is one
man's
where
just
it's
self-reporting that he doesn't watch Ludwig.
What
Just self-report right there. Doesn't
not-
watch Ludwig.
just not the ones
Creator
about
of
the
Swipe
bidets.
Plus bidet.
Yeah.
Literally sells his own
How
bidet
could you
line
not
that just
know
connects to the
Swipe
toilet.
Plus bidet?
I know what I'm getting
God.
next Christmas.
Yeah.
The next product is a new one to help people with anxiety. It's a pillow that breathes.
That sounds horrific.
What do you mean?
Right.
Like it's a pillow that breathes? Can you go like?
It's a
As in-
small child you purchase and you use it as a pillow.
It's a sweatshop child from overseas that prefers to work as a
Sometimes
pillow.
it speaks and I say, I bought you to breathe.
yeah.
Not to
Breathe
speak.
now,
your food,
and I'll hold you. So literally, like people, you hold the pillow, and so it's meant to sort of mimic the idea of holding someone. So the pillow will sort of kind of like expand and shrink, like kind of like this, similar to sort of someone breathing.
What happened to the good old days of when you're lonely, just having a really rough wank and falling asleep to tears?
Yeah.
I don't understand why
Or
we
just
need
like
all
a
this anymore.
brothel, you know, just go
But
down to your local.
the pillows for after you have the rough wank and you're crying.
Oh, because that's when you feel true love. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would like to ask. May I ask a question about the pillow?
Yes.
Does it come in a variety of
No, it
characters?
doesn't come. It's just a pillow.
Could you imagine? It's a different type of breathing then.
At this stage, it is just a plain white pillow, but I would not be surprised if more if you could put it inside, other pillowcases to customize it.
I want so hard for this to be false, but I'm going to say true.
I will say false then.
It's true. It's real. You need to go look at the videos of this pillow. It's so
Look,
weird.
Truthfully, kind of figured it would be because Drew Gooden did that video where he bought like thousands of dollars worth of like new tech for mental health, and just it's the
Weird.
shit that people have created is just so exploitative, man. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
It is. You can't deny that's an exploitative purchase, right?
I mean, it depends because like it's in concept, it could actually, people could generally benefit from it. Kind of like the same way, like, people get weighted blankets to kind of create that feeling.
I'm not going to look down on anybody who gets this stuff, but for my point of view, it's just like, oh, that's just not a good place to be if you feel like you need that,
I am going to look down on the creators of it because they're doing it for profit. If this was like a medical thing where it was like, also, if this was something that was super needed, it would probably already exist. Doctors would be like, yeah, this is this thing we can give you, right?
Right.
I just feel like if you're looking at it from an actual point of anxiety, which is where it came from at the start, right? These guys, how much is the pillow? Here's the other thing. How much is the pillow?
I don't know the price.
Breathing pillow. CES?
Incognito.
CES,
Right.
yeah.
Incognito.
Unveils flying cars and breathing pillows. That's a sad sign. It doesn't look like there's no word on the pricing for it. And it also looks horrific. Why does it look like a raw chicken nugget? This is terrible.
Oddly shaped.
Also, TechCrunch. Okay, TechCrunch, why are you giving these types of ads on your robotic? Oh, these are articles, not ads. They're not even self-serving. So I'm not even self-reporting here. This is an article about AI porn generation.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Excellent. Moving on. So, boys, have you been to restaurants lately that they have those little automated waiter bots that they bring the food out to your table?
I've seen them. I've never been to one.
Yeah,
I've never had
okay.
one deliver them. Yeah.
Gotcha. Essentially, so a new device has been unveiled. So it's kind of taking that concept but bringing it to the home. So same idea where it's kind of got cameras and sensors so it can navigate through your home, but essentially going to be like a little robot butler, and it's got a little arm that can sort of, so it can sort of push open doors, or even, for example, open the fridge, and so you can teach it where certain things are. So you could literally tell this little robot to go get you a beer from the fridge.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. So a child, you've got a child.
No, we live in Australia. You have seen the ads, mate, of the dad telling the kid to go get him a beer, and it leads to the kid, and it leads to the kid beating someone. You can't make that. We live in a world. We live in a society.
We live in a society.
This is an Australian staple. Having your dad yell, "Go get me a beer," and then you having flashbacks to an ad that tells you your dad is evil if he does that.
And for that reason, I'm saying false. This isn't a real thing.
And I am true.
It is false. It is false. Yeah, I came up with it. I was like, hoping to. I was like, no, this would be so believable though, because the kind of thing already exists in restaurants and things. I'm like, surely surely they would take the bait.
God.
But so that one is fake, but it'd be pretty cool to have. Next, we got two more. We'll fly through them nice and quick.
All right.
Another fridge has been shown off. It's your new best way to start a party. It's a double door fridge with 4 panels, and the panels can change colors. And it has built-in Bluetooth, and it's got speakers in the fridge, so you can play music through the fridge. And the colored panels also change to the music as well.
You know what? Yeah, rock it. True. Yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yep. It is true. LG are making this fridge, and they're calling it the mood fridge.
Great.
It is literally
circular cylinder on the side of it as well for when you're in the mood. But sure.
Oh yeah.
That's when it changes to a different color. Yeah,
They literally think it's gonna be your next party starter. It's like, guys, trust me, this party's gonna be great. I've got this fridge. Trust
Everyone
me.
gather around the fridge.
The problem is the people who can afford to buy it are probably people my and like our age,
Yeah.
right? So like, and I think about the parties I've had over the last like year. It's like 6 people. 2 of them have brought their kids. We're all just playing Cluedo. Like, we don't need our fridge going, you know? Like,
But then it's a rave with all the different flashing colors. RGB again. They love the RGB.
That's it. All right. And the very last one. Smell-O-Vision has been a concept for years.
Yes.
And one company claims to have finally done it. They have unveiled a new VR headset, which underneath the headset part has a little odor-filled cartridge to create different odors to mimic what you're interacting with in the game.
this one is true.
I'm going to say false.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true.
I wanted to jump in on that one early because I know this one's true because I saw a YouTube thumbnail and it was someone had drawn like practically porn of the girl from Edge Runners, the Netflix show, the older one, like the main, I don't know, the main character falls in love with her, but it's the main character wearing a VR headset with his face shoved between her ass cheeks. And I think the thumbnail title was something like CEX just announced Smell-O-Vision or Smellable VR.
I love that. That is a 10 out of 10. What a great
It was just
thumbnail.
Lucy, I think her name is from Edge Runners. Was it Lucy? Yeah, it's Lucy from Edge Runners. And
Oh my
David's
God.
just like,
I mean, look, honestly, according to people that tried it at CES, apparently it actually like kind of works.
Right.
Like they in some demos they held up a rose and it was like a floral odor, and then they turned it around and there was like a soil odor. Yeah.
I mean, it will work perfectly. You'd want it for good stuff, but the bad stuff, you're like, I don't want to smell
I'm
that.
just laughing because I'm just imagining someone on the floor of CES
It's just
with a VR headset.
like,
Someone just is like walks over and just shoves their ass in their face. And they're like, oh, that doesn't smell like a rose. And it's just,
I wish you do that.
boys, I think we're dropping frame. I think
we're dropping frame. It's time to wrap up this car crash.
Bye, we're going to see you next
We'll
week.
see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.